Hello and welcome. Dr. Kamil Idris took oath today before the chairman of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Force, Lieutenant General Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, as Prime Minister. The oath was attended by Secretary General of the Sovereignty Council, Lieutenant General Dr. Muhammad al-Ghali Ali Yusuf, and head of the judiciary in the Rasi state, representing the Chief Justice. Dr. Salma Abdul Jabbar Al Mubarak and Dr. Nawara Abu Muhammad Tahir were sworn in today before the chairman of the Sovereignty Council Al Burhan as members of the Sovereignty Council, in the presence of the Secretary General of the Sovereignty Council, Lieutenant General Dr. Muhammad Al Ghali Ali Yusuf, and the Chief of Justice of the Rasi state, representing the Chief Justice. In a press statement, Dr. Salma expressed her appreciation to the chairman of the Sovereignty Council and the confidence placed on her, praising the great victories achieved by the armed force during Operation Dignity, thanks to the Sudanese people's support for the military. For her part, Dr. Nawara pledged to do her utmost to advance Sudan, dedicating her efforts to serving the Sudanese people and achieving prosperity and a dignified life for them. The Vice Chairman of the Transitional Sovereignty Council, Commander Malik Qar, met with Burundian President Everest Ndayishimiye in Kampala, Uganda. The meeting addressed the situation in Sudan, the background to the rapid support for RSF rebellion, and its implication for the region. In a press statement, Undersecretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Ambassador Hussein Al-Amin explained the discussion focused on the foreign, regional, and international interventions, including the UAE's sponsorship for the rebellion and the negative role of some neighboring countries of facilitating the passage of weapons and mercenaries in Sudan. He stated that the President Ndayishimiye affirmed his sympathy and support for the Sudanese people, for Sudan and its armed force, which have contributed to establishing peace and security in the country. He also expressed Burundi's readiness to provide support to Sudan. A statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the militia committed a series of humanitarian crimes targeting civilian areas, killing 28 civilians in Al-Ubayd, Al-Dibibat, and Al-Khuwait. It also bombed World Food Program warehouse in Al-Fashir, burning them and their contents. The statement detailed on an attack on Al-Daman Hospital in Al-Ubayd that killed 16 patients, their companions, and medical staff. The militia also targeted a popular market in Al-Khuwait on Wednesday with drones, killing 8 civilians, and shelled a residential neighborhood in Al-Dibibat, resulting in civilian casualties. The ministry further noted attacks on the power and water stations that contributed to the spread of the epidemic and held the militia and their regional sponsors accountable. It also accused Western allies of bearing responsibility for their protection of the militia in international forums and their tolerance of the crimes committed. Sudan's candidate, Dr. Al-Sadiq Al-Ubaid, has been elected as country executive director on the board of directors of the African Development Bank, succeeding the former Liberian representative Rafos. The achievement announced during the bank's group's annual meeting this week marks a diplomatic and economic milestone for Sudan, highlighting the competence of Sudanese professionals to compete on the international stage. Dr. Al-Ubaid previously played a key role in securing over $3 billion in grant of financing for Sudan through negotiations with major international financial institutions, including the World Bank and the African Development Bank. His election reflects both regional and international confidence in Sudan talent and is expected to significantly enhance the effectiveness of the bank. A World Food Program (WFP) warehouse in Al-Fashir, North Darfur, was struck and damaged by repeated shelling from the Rapid Support Force (RSF) on Friday, the United Nations reports. UN spokesperson Steve Dujarric confirmed the incidents at noon briefing, stating that all WFP staff were safe. He condemned the attack, stressing the humanitarian workers and their supplies must never be targeted. The chilling drew condemnation from the United States and sharp response from Sudan's foreign ministry. This must stop now, especially in places like Sudan, where over 3 million children are suffering from malnutrition, Steve emphasized. Al-Sudani has learned that Ambassador Badr al-Din al-Jaafri, the Deputy Permanent Representative of Sudan's mission in Geneva, will assume the position of Director of the Office of the new Prime Minister, Dr. Kamel Idris al-Jaafari, arrived in Port Sudan on Thursday, accompanied by the Prime Minister. Dr. Idris is scheduled to be sworn in today, Saturday, in preparation for taking his duties. The United Nations warned that the humanitarian situation in Gaza has reached its worst point since the war between Israel and Hamas militants began 19 months ago. Despite a resumption of limited aid deliveries, Israel lifted an 11-week block on Gaza 12 days ago under mounting global pressure, allowing some UN-led aid operations to restart on Monday. A new U.S. and Israeli-backed aid initiative to Gaza Humanitarian Foundation (GHF) was launched, though it has drawn controversy. Any aid that gets into the hands of people who need it is good, UN spokesperson Stephen Dujarric told reporters in New York. However, he stressed that the overall impact of the aid deliveries so far has been very, very little, describing the humanitarian situation in Gaza as the worst since the war began. The UN and international aid groups have refused to work with the GHF, citing concerns over the lack of neutrality and a disruption model that they say displaces Palestinians. The UN Security Council on Friday adopted a resolution to renew the arms embargo on South Sudan for another year until May 31, 2026, along with targeted sanctions, including travel bans and asset freeze on individuals and entities. Resolution 2781 passed with 9 votes in favor and 6 abstentions. Also extended the mandate of the panel of experts assisting the South Sudan Sanctions Committee until July 1st, 2026. The African members of the Security Council, Algeria, Sierra Leone, and Somalia abstained for the vote, along with China, Pakistan, and Russia. This was your today's news by Sniper TV. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.